Welcome to the Men of Honor podcast. My name is Corey, and today we're going to be breaking down something that is quite weird because of the fact that, if you ask a question to anybody that's been married or in a relationship of some sort, then when they want to get their relationship to a better place, they always ask, what is the secret of a good relationship? And this is sparked by a article I was reading I think it was a week ago, about this couple. They've both lived to 100 and something, and they were told that they would never, I think they were about 18 and 16. They were told that they shouldn't get married, they shouldn't be together, and now they've come up to 100 and something. So they've hit the Guinness Book of Records of the longest married couple ever, or something like that. So it came down to something like 80 something years. So I'm sorry if I didn't have the actual details. I know some people they really want to know the exact details, but if you look it up online, I'm sure you can get it. The thing that I found quite fascinating was that they said, what is the secret? And they said the secret is communication. And this is exactly what you hear every single person. If somebody asks you right now, what is the secret to a good relationship, whether you're in a good relationship or not, the first thing that you would say is you just need to have good communication. And usually everybody ends there, and they just assume that you know what that good communication is. And the weird thing is that nobody knows what that good communication is. In fact, I've been married for 9 years, and it's only up until this year when I started really diving deep into my own personal issues and trauma and everything that I realized actual real communication is in the sitting down on the sofa and sharing a meal or whatever, or having communication about talking about how is your day, or even going to as far as me describing how much I love her and everything like that. Those are important bits of life that happen in life, and you should be having those. I can go as far as saying we've had some nights where we've had game nights. So we just sit there, turn off the TV, put the phones away, and we play games. And if you outside looking in, you think that that's another point of good communication, and that's not it either. So if you look at that, you start thinking that there's an advice about that everybody knows that having good communication is the key to having a successful relationship. And if everybody knows and that is the truth, then why is it that many relationships fail? So for us to actually really dig deep and actually get to where I'm trying to get at, I think we need to backtrack a little bit. I think we need to figure out why is it that we are pulled towards having a relationship. So now you have to think about it. I'm heterosexual, so I'm attracted to women. So I've got married to a woman, and there might be male guys that are listening to this, and you are attracted to men or lesbian or whatever. You are whatever you are attracted to. There's always that desire of wanting to be with someone. Now, if you take out socialization out of it, which means that if you take out how we describe a relationship in terms of two people coming together and then having a bond of love, the real premise of a relationship is to procreate. So, and it doesn't matter whether you've got feelings for between man or man or woman and woman. There is the sex element that is the most important thing in that relationship. So there has to be that is the basis of everything when it comes to relationship. When you see it that way, that is the basis of the relationship, then everything else in terms of communication now centers around that. Because you find that when there's this saying where they say, I think I was listening to this story recently where this lady was talking about that when they first met, when she first met her boyfriend, somebody gave her advice to say every time you have sex, put a bean inside a pot or something like that. And they did. And the reason why was that she said, if by the time you get married, you're going to find that you have to start taking those beans out, and you're going to find that you're never going to empty it. And it's so true that once you put marriage in play and you put time goes by, the thing that is the most important thing within the relationship becomes, or the times that you connect becomes further and further apart. And sometimes some people actually have matching sexual appetites, and they can have consistent connection through that way. But if you bear with me a moment, that it's not the sex that makes it work. It's the fulfillment of the person. So when you get to that point where you can actually be fulfilled, feel like you got that connection to that person, and you're content with that person, and you're getting to that point where you feel you're connected to them in a special way, that's the point where we're always chasing. Now, if you've got into a relationship with the desire of, or the frame of mind that you're unhappy, and up until you get somebody to make you need to get somebody in order to make you happy, you end up being the person that's coming into a relationship wanting to take something. And this is where it becomes a massive deal. So when you come into a relationship wanting to take something, and this is, I'm not saying that I'm perfect, because I've come into this marriage with that mindset that I thought if I get married, then would be able to be happy. And because of that mindset, it means that it now governs every single decision that I make, and everything that I communicate and how I communicate. And again, just to sidetrack for a little bit, I'm sorry that I always sidetrack and do this. But anyways, when we talk about communication, there's means of communication, there's laws of communication. So when you get into a relationship, there's no lack of communication. You're always communicating. So even if you're both not speaking together, so for whatever reason somebody is sulking and you're not speaking, the fact that they're sulking, they're communicating something, they're unhappy with something, and you not saying something is actually saying that, okay, whether both of you are not saying anything is, so if we were sat on a sofa and there was no issue and I'm not saying anything, I am saying something. I'm saying that, can you just give me my space? I'm having my own personal space, or I just don't want to talk to you right now, or whatever. There's always something that you're communicating. So this advice of to make a relationship work, you need good communication is very good advice, but also is very shallow. Not just shallow, but it's also actually very distractful, in terms of if you go in there without actually realizing the real deal, what makes it work. So I think we just pointed out that the reason why we get together, if you peel away all the other important things like love and romance and intimacy and everything else, the main thing is that we are designed to reproduce and procreate. So the urge to have sex is just as strong as breathing and eating, because you need to find food to survive. So if you look at back in the caveman, they would hunt in order to survive, and then they would breed in order to get more of themselves in the world. So, and you see, this is the reality of life. And if you see, humans are not the unique ones to having sex. Even plants have sex, for crying out loud. So it's so important, because you see, the flower, and then you've got the bees that are pollinating and everything. Everything is centered around procreation. So sex becomes the most important thing within the relationship. And the reason why it's so important is because you're looking to connect. Now, the trees don't have high functioning brains like we do as humans. We don't just desire sex. We want to go beyond the actual orgasm. So beyond the orgasm, you want to have a connection that is beyond that feels a certain need of happiness. So we define it as happiness, we define it as fulfillment, we define it as different things, but there's a goal towards it. And the best way of actually seeing this is if you told each other for whatever reason, this month we're not having sex, the moment you put that decree that, okay, we're not going to be having sex this month, even both of you, if you were in the mindset that you're not interested or you're not wanting to do it, it instantly now drives you to wanting to do it because it's just within your nature. Now, why is this all important and how does this all tie in with communication? So the real communication that actually makes a marriage work is everything that disrupts you from actually getting to that point of fulfillment. It's not the actual sex itself. So you can be having the weirdest issue within your marriage and still be having sex, but beyond the orgasm, there isn't that fulfillment. So whether there's resentment, that resentment still stays there, and there's that whether there is anger or whether there is guilt or there is, all those things will remain there. It doesn't go away just because you've had an orgasm, but it changes everything when you can release and be vulnerable and say, you know what, I'm feeling guilty because of this. And regardless of what they feel, the fact that you've been able to open up and be vulnerable, usually if that person is your life partner, they will be able to help you to deal with that point of weakness or vulnerability. And by them helping you to get over that point, it helps you to become stronger. And when you now communicate or have sex after that point, it helps you to connect on a deeper level, because it's almost like there's a thing I was learning recently about how you, in a marriage, you have to create distance even though you live together. And the only way you create that distance is by revealing more and more of yourself. So they already think that they've got you figured out. Then you reveal something else that's different. And the more you do that, it becomes a thing that is a consistent thing, that where you're showing yourself in a different way. And that's something new, something exciting. It's something that is a little bit scary, but it's that roller coaster effect that you start creating because you're constantly sharing things that that have been not known to everyone, but that is exclusively to that person, that are also potentially quite damaged. So sometimes the things that you share that make you vulnerable are things that will expose the weakness of your partner as well. So it doesn't mean that you, by revealing whatever is going on within yourself or your vulnerabilities, that's gonna become an amazing aphrodisiac. So sometimes it will cut deep. Sometimes it will be something that will cause even more a rift. So if so in this, like in the situation where I was in, where I cheated on my wife, you know, it's something that continuously comes up, whether it's 10 months or a year. She's something that she will never get over. So one act can just trigger her, and by that trigger, she will go into a mental mode where she's thinking and making up something within her mind that it starts torturing her. And it's a sad place, because it's something that I've caused, and it makes me feel guilty and everything like that. And me sharing could make it worse. So if I say, whenever I trigger you and you're upset and everything like that, I feel guilty, it's almost like I'm now becoming the victim. I'm telling her not to be angry, and, so sometimes when you're sharing those things, it doesn't make it work, but it now takes, that person starts taking into account that, you know what, yes, I'm holding them against that thing, but truly, let me take stock of what else has been happening leading up to this, if I've been feeling in love, if they try their best to reassure me, there's other things that they will now start getting their mind towards, that, you know what, the fight that we're going through is not necessary, because, there's other things that we're doing right now, working towards a healthier relationship, a relationship that is based on trust. And again, so I think I'm revealing more than I wanted to, but hopefully this is helpful. And guys, if you really learning something from this, can you go and join the Men of Honor podcast Facebook group? That's where you can get more information like this and more strategies in order to make it work and getting that better way of communicating with your spouse. Because again, it's true, the key to a successful relationship is communication, but it's the kind of communication that you have. And like I said, it's not just being vulnerable, but it's being able to reveal yourself in a way that she's never seen before. Because we all get into a marriage with masks and things that we do not want to reveal. So the first few, the first time when you say you're in the honeymoon period, a lot of it is based on lust and on how they look and the things that they're revealing to you. And you get in love with somebody who's showing you the things that are their highest, the best qualities, but the things that they're most vulnerable about, they'll always keep it in the back end. And when you get married, you now start digging towards the back end, and the more is revealed and how you deal with it is what makes the relationship strong. So I'm trying to articulate in a way that will be beneficial to both men and women. I think, again, if you want to know more about this, where we actually talk about, how to make the conversation happen, join the Men of Honor Facebook group. I'm looking to get something made up, well, sort of like a template where how you can actually structure a conversation where, even though you know that there might be tension that you're building, but you're now bringing it to the fore so you can actually deal with it. Because up until I cheated, there was things that I just kept sweeping under the carpet, and they ended up manifesting themselves in ways that I didn't want them to manifest it. So again, I'm not going to go anymore because I think I've gone way past my time. I usually try and keep it down to 15 minutes. I don't really script this type of stuff. I really just talk about things that are happening within my life and what I think is important, and just reminders of myself. So you're following me on my journey, but at the same time, I'm hoping that the stuff that I'm sharing are helpful to what's happening within your life right now. So again, if you're a lady and you're listening to this and you think this is important and you know a man that might need this, please send them to the Men of Honor Facebook group. If we're not taking any ladies, unfortunately, but again, to conclude this episode, is communication the key to a successful relationship? My answer is yes, but it depends on the communication that you're having. So now I think you have an idea of what sort of the communication that you're having. If you've got any questions, I don't know how to access some of the comments, if there's any comment section, but you can reach out on the Men of Honor Facebook group. It'll be a nice place where you can reach out and ask if you've got any questions. So thank you very much, guys, for listening to this. I think this has gone a bit longer than I normally go. I just got a little bit carried away. And thank you very much for listening.